what was like after, Welcome to the Dollhouse? Like, was it, because look, we all know this is a business. Was it then like, hey, I know you're young, but this club is open for you. Come on in. Everyone wants to talk to you. Were you like
That was not my experience at all. That was the farthest thing from my experience, period. I did not go to clubs. I did not do the whole Hollywood thing. Which was twofold in one sense, because it's like, all my friends are doing it. Why can't I do it? And also, again, I'm I was like an awkward kid. Like, it's like, I don't want to talk about fucking shoes. I want to talk about like what you think happens after we die. Like, and those aren't really conversations that are conducive for club life.
Not necessarily, no. They are not. You were just an old soul. And I mean that in like the best way possible.
I received that. Yeah, I mean, I would much rather hang out and talk with like Betty Bacall smoking a cigarette than, talking with whoever the fuck was, the heartthrob or sugar packet of the moment.
Right.
Like, I wasn't interested in being part of the like in crowd in that space because they all seemed quite boring.
Yeah, carbon copies.
And I don't mean that as a slight to my peers at that time, but also, again, that late 90s, early 2000s, there are so many people that you don't hear about again. And that's the thing about this business, where it's like sustainability is key, and I'm grateful that I because I didn't move to LA until 2014. So I lived in New York, like I was like a fucking New Yorker, so that club scene also was quite different. And you would sooner find me at Marie's Crisis, singing show tunes.
I get it. Well, I probably saw you there. I was probably in the corner somewhere there myself around the same time that you were. So who doesn't love a little Marie's Crisis?
That's right.
What about, because another film that's so beloved by so many people is like Princess Diaries. I know you were in the second one as well. What was the whole Princess Diaries experience like?
I mean, I was in both.
Yeah.
I mean, it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. And that was very unexpected because I was doing a series for CBS at the time. And Glenn Caron and Les Moonves had gotten into a pissing match about whether or not the show was going to be picked up. So Glenn Caron, and his genius / folly, had the end of the first season be a cliffhanger, and Les Moonves called his bluff and canceled the show. And so here I am, I think like 16, maybe 7, I think 16, maybe 17, fuck's sakes, doesn't matter. I just remember getting the call and starting to panic, like, oh my God, shit, this show is canceled. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I don't think that any 16-year-old should really be thinking about whether or not they're ever going to work again.
Seriously.
But such is the neuroses of being an actor and that experience of living in the unknown. And then a month later, I am in an office at was then the Falcon Theater, which is now the Gary Marshall Theater, sitting outside with Annie Hathaway, waiting to go in to meet with Gary Marshall. And so if that TV show had continued on, I wouldn't have had the experience of working on Princess Diaries. So it was absolutely wonderful and a delightful surprise. And Gary was the first one that showed me that you could really have fun and let your little kid out on set, you know, because we were filming over Thanksgiving and we had like a Thanksgiving Day parade. We just stopped shooting for an hour because he thought that was important. You know, like it's not just about the business, it's also about family, it's also about this, it's also about that, you know, and so it was an absolutely lovely experience.
What about working with Anne Hathaway? Like, did you learn anything from working with her?
I think that we learned a lot from each other, you know, because when I was doing Princess Diaries, I was at this very interesting point in my career where I was being considered like the indie darling and whatever. And I was this punk 17-year-old kid that was like, fuck, doing this fucking Disney movie. Like, okay. Um, and our birthdays are 2 days apart. So you get two Scorpios together. And Gary is also a Scorpio. So we were, and my birthday's the 10th, his was the 12th, and Annie's was the 13th. Or the other, what else? Age will get you in terms of memory. Yeah, Annie's is the 12th and Gary's is the 13th. And you know, I think I definitely scared Annie a little bit because of my gruffness. And she definitely taught me to be a bit softer. And you know, we just got on like a house on fire, you know, and I love working with actors that aren't like brick walls. And there are some that just are so caught up in their own stuff that they're not able to play and engage in the present and the moment, which is what acting is all about. And Annie is one that is able to not only be present and give back, but there's that. It's always fun to play with somebody that has that fellow spark of getting to leap, for lack of a better word, into the unknown in a moment, you know. And that's not just reserved for, you know, Coen Brothers-esque films or whatnot. It's appropriate for a range of genres. So yeah, working with her was great. I mean, that was her first big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think, I mean, I've talked to other people that have worked with like, and like, you know, they say great things. Like, why do you think, you know, I mean, she's in on it. Like, why, like, if you Google her name and it will say like, you know, diva, this, that, like, you know, that there is that thing surrounding her. Why do you think there's all this? And is it like a double standard? Does it have to do, you know, is there a difference in this business?
I mean, I think honestly, and I say this respectfully, I think it's such a boring question. It's like, we already know the answer to this question. You already know the answer to this question. You know, it's
Right.
because people are assholes. That's why. Because people are fucking assholes. You know, but like, she's doing just fine. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
She's doing
Yeah,
just fine.
I would say so.